Imagine a pill. If a pharmaceutical company created a single capsule that could sharpen your memory, cut your risk of depression in half, reverse early cognitive decline, and add nearly a decade to your life expectancy, it would be the most expensive drug in history. Scientists would call it a miracle, governments would fight over it, the waiting list would be years long. But here's the thing, you don't need a prescription. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't need a gym membership or a personal trainer. You just need your legs and 30 minutes. We've been conditioned to believe that if exercise isn't intense, it doesn't count. That if you're not drenched in sweat, gasping for air, or destroying yourself in a HIIT class, your body isn't changing. Slow and simple? That's for beginners. That's for recovery days. That's for people who aren't serious. But modern science is proving the exact opposite. It turns out that walking, slow, simple, boring walking, triggers some of the most powerful neurological and metabolic changes your body is capable of producing, changes that high-intensity training actually can't replicate, and most people have no idea this is happening inside them. Today, we're not just talking about walking, we're going deep inside your brain, into your neurons, your neurotransmitters, your blood chemistry, and your cellular biology. By the end of this video, you will never look at a 30-minute walk the same way again. Let's start at the very beginning. Second one, step one. The moment you start walking, your body realizes something has changed. In the first 60 seconds, your heart rate increases by 10 to 20 beats per minute, blood flow to your muscles jumps by nearly 300%, and your brain immediately begins releasing norepinephrine. Think of this as your body's internal ignition switch. It's the signal that says, "We're alive, we're moving, wake everything up." Simultaneously, your lungs pull in more oxygen, and that oxygen-rich blood begins traveling toward the most energy-hungry organ you own, your brain. Within the first minute, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for focus, decision-making, and emotional regulation, begins receiving significantly more blood flow than it does when you're sitting. You haven't even broken a sweat yet, and your brain is already running better. Now you're 10 minutes in. This is where things get extraordinary. Your brain begins releasing a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor. Scientists call this miracle grow for the brain, and that's not an exaggeration. BDNF literally grows new neurons, it strengthens existing neural connections, it repairs damaged brain cells. In people who walk regularly, the hippocampus, the brain's memory and learning center, is measurably larger than in sedentary individuals. That's not a metaphor. That's physical brain growth from walking. A landmark study out of the University of British Columbia found that regular aerobic walking increased hippocampal volume by 2% in older adults, effectively reversing 1 to 2 years of age-related brain shrinkage. Think about that. You can literally grow your brain by walking to the park. Here's something most people never consider about their daily walk. Every time you eat, especially refined carbohydrates, your blood sugar spikes. Your pancreas floods your bloodstream with insulin to bring it back down. Repeat this cycle enough times, and your cells start ignoring insulin signals. That's how insulin resistance begins. That's the runway to type 2 diabetes. But when you walk, your muscles activate something called GLUT4 transporters. Think of these as tiny vacuum systems built into your muscle cells. They pull glucose directly out of your bloodstream without needing insulin at all. Your muscles essentially suck the sugar out of your blood on their own. A 30-minute walk after a meal can reduce your blood sugar spike by up to 30%. No medication required, just movement. Here's what the fitness industry doesn't want to talk about. When you train at very high intensities, your body releases elevated levels of cortisol, your primary stress hormone. In small doses, that's fine, but chronic high-intensity training without adequate recovery keeps cortisol elevated for hours. It disrupts sleep, it breaks down muscle tissue, it increases appetite. It actually works against most of the goals people are training for. But when you walk, your body stays in what researchers call the parasympathetic sweet spot, a state where cortisol stays low, your nervous system stays calm, and your body is in full recovery and repair mode. You're burning fat, growing your brain, and lowering inflammation, all without triggering a single stress response. simple wins. Real quick, if this is changing how you think about your own body, hit the like button right now. It genuinely helps this information reach more people. And drop a comment below. How many steps do you think you're averaging per day right now? Be honest. I'm curious. All right, let's keep going, because what I'm about to tell you is the part most health videos completely skip over. Large-scale studies don't lie. A meta-analysis of over 50,000 participants published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that regular walkers reduced their risk of cardiovascular disease by 31% and their risk of dying from any cause by 32% compared to sedentary individuals. A separate Harvard study tracking over 72,000 women found that those who walked briskly for 30 minutes a day reduced their risk of stroke by 30%. And, perhaps most strikingly, research from JAMA Neurology shows that people who walk at least 30 minutes a day have a 40 to 50% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. That is a better risk reduction rate than most pharmaceutical interventions currently on the market. Here's what almost nobody talks about: your lymphatic system. Think of this as your body's internal sewage network. While your cardiovascular system has a pump, your heart, your lymphatic system has no pump at all. It relies entirely on movement to circulate. Muscle contractions from walking literally squeeze lymphatic fluid through your vessels, flushing out cellular waste, inflammatory proteins, and metabolic byproducts that would otherwise sit stagnant in your tissues. When you sit all day, this system stalls. Toxins accumulate, inflammation rises, your immune response slows. The only way to properly activate your lymphatic system is to move your body, and walking is one of the most efficient ways to do it. Your body is literally cleaning itself with every step. Here's the bigger picture. For 99% of human history, we walked. Hunters and gatherers covered 10 to 15 kilometers per day on foot. Our bodies evolved around constant low-level movement. Our joints were designed for it. Our lymphatic systems depend on it. Our brains developed their complexity because of it. Your DNA expects you to walk. It has for 300,000 years. When you don't, when you sit for 10 hours a day in a chair your ancestors never knew existed, your biology gets confused. Your inflammatory markers rise, your brain growth slows, your metabolic systems begin to dysfunction. You're not lazy if you struggle without movement. You're simply human, living in an environment your body was never designed for. Walking isn't exercise, it's coming home. And here's the part that makes this truly remarkable. The best benefits of walking don't happen during the walk. They happen hours later. Because you stabilized your cortisol this morning, your sleep tonight will be deeper and more restorative. Because you raised your serotonin during that walk, your mood this afternoon will be more regulated. You'll be less reactive, less anxious, more even-keeled. Because you activated BDNF, the ideas you're struggling to access right now will surface more easily. Because you lowered your blood sugar spike after lunch, your 3 p.m. energy crash either won't happen or will be dramatically reduced. One walk, compounding returns across your entire day. If you do this once, you'll feel better. If you do it for a week, your sleep will improve and your mood will stabilize. If you do it for a month, people will start asking you what changed. Your cognitive performance will shift. Your body composition will begin to change. If you do it for a year, consistently, without complicating it, you will be a genuinely different person. A person with a larger hippocampus, a cleaner lymphatic system, lower inflammation, a stronger heart, and a brain that is measurably more resilient. All of this from walking. So here's my challenge to you. Don't overcomplicate this. Don't wait until you have the perfect shoes, the perfect playlist, or the perfect schedule. Just walk for 30 minutes tomorrow, outside if you can, first thing in the morning if possible. That's it. That's the whole challenge. If you're in, comment "I'm in" below. I read every single one. And if you want to see exactly what happens to your body when you do this every morning for 30 days, that video is right here. See you there.